Mark, the lead engineer, was brilliant but prone to rash decisions, often acting without considering the consequences. Sarah, the geologist, was fascinated by the moon's surface, but even her enthusiasm had waned under the weight of uncertainty. The isolation of Titan was palpable. As days turned into weeks, the crew found themselves haunted by strange occurrences, flickering lights, odd noises, and inexplicable sensations that left them feeling watched. The expedition's objective was to study the hydrocarbon lakes, but recently, there had been a string of unexplained phenomena, strange signals from deep within the moon's surface, and a series of unsettling anomalies that made the crew uneasy. Her crew, a mix of scientists and engineers, had begun to express their doubts, but Lisa remained resolute. She was determined to uncover the truth about Titan, even as the atmosphere grew tense. Their mission was clear: gather data and return home. Yet each passing hour felt like an eternity, the weight of an unspeakable dread hanging over them. One night, while reviewing data in the lab, Lisa noticed something off about the readings. A spike in the seismic activity sensors coincided with the strange signals they had detected earlier. It was as if something was awakening beneath the surface. She shared her findings with the team, but instead of excitement, she was met with skepticism. The crew, worn down by weeks of isolation and the eerie silence of Titan, was beginning to fracture. As the days passed, the crew's morale plummeted. Sleep-deprived and anxious, they began to experience vivid hallucinations. Lisa found herself doubting her own senses as shadows flickered at the edge of her vision. It was during one of these episodes that she first heard the whisper, a faint guttural sound that seemed to resonate from deep within the module. She dismissed it as fatigue, but the unease lingered. The breaking point came on the sixth night when the ground trembled violently, rattling the module. Alarms blared, and the crew scrambled to their stations. Outside, the fog had thickened, swirling in unnatural patterns, almost as if it were alive. In the chaos, one of the engineers, Mark, screamed, pointing toward the window. Lisa turned to look, and her blood ran cold. Emerging from the mist was a colossal shape, gliding effortlessly over the surface, a dark silhouette against the orange glow of the atmosphere. "What the hell is that?" Mark shouted, his voice tinged with terror. Lisa's mind raced. The readings had hinted at something beneath, but they had no idea it would manifest like this. Panic surged through the crew as they realized they were not alone on Titan. Whatever this entity was, it was watching them, waiting for the right moment to make its move. The crew was thrust into a terrifying battle for survival, not just against the harsh environment of Titan, but against a presence that defied explanation. As shadows danced in the corners of the module and whispers echoed in their minds, Lisa knew they had to act quickly. The truth about Titan was more terrible than they could have ever imagined. Titan, Saturn's largest moon, presented a landscape that was both mesmerizing and foreboding. The thick orange atmosphere, rich in nitrogen and methane, gave the moon an otherworldly glow, while the frigid temperatures and vast hydrocarbon lakes created an environment that was both alien and beautiful. The crew of the Horizon module had come here to study these lakes and gather data that could potentially reveal the secrets of life beyond Earth. Commander Lisa Reynolds was the heart of the expedition. With a doctorate in astrobiology and a reputation for her dedication, she had spent years preparing for this mission. Her passion for exploration was infectious, but the mounting tension among the crew began to chip away at her confidence. Mark, the lead engineer, was brilliant but prone to rash decisions, often acting without considering the consequences. Sarah, the geologist, was fascinated by the moon's surface, but even her enthusiasm had waned under the weight of uncertainty. The isolation of Titan was palpable. As days turned into weeks, the crew found themselves haunted by strange occurrences, flickering lights, odd noises, and inexplicable sensations that left them feeling watched. She was determined to maintain the integrity of their mission, but with every passing moment, the shadow of something sinister lurked just beyond their understanding. The unknown was closing in, and the stakes had never been higher. The next day, the crew gathered in the Horizon module to discuss their findings and plan their next steps. The atmosphere was tense, and Lisa could feel the unease radiating from her team. They had been analyzing the seismic readings, and something was clearly amiss. "We need to investigate the source of those seismic signals," Lisa urged, her voice steady despite the dread building inside her. "If we don't understand what's happening beneath the surface, we could be in real danger. But what if we provoke something we can't control?" Sarah interjected, her voice trembling. "We don't know what's down there." Frustration bubbled beneath Lisa's calm exterior. "We're scientists. It's our duty to confront the unknown. We can't turn back now." Just as the argument escalated, the lights in the module flickered violently. A low rumble resonated through the walls, sending shivers down their spines. Mark clutched his head, eyes wide with panic. "This place is cursed. We need to leave." "Mark, we can't just abandon our mission." Lisa shot back, trying to maintain control. "We're too close to discovering something important." That night, sleep eluded Lisa. The whispers that had haunted her dreams grew louder, weaving through her thoughts like a sinister lullaby. Despite her fear, she felt an inexplicable pull toward the source of the disturbances, as if it were calling her. The following day, they prepared to descend to the fissure that had been emitting the strange signals. Armed with their equipment and a sense of foreboding, they boarded the lander. As it touched down on Titan's icy surface, Lisa's heart raced. The air was thick with tension, and the whispers seemed to envelop them, urging them forward. Exiting the lander, they were met with a sight that would forever alter their lives. The ground was scarred, fissures glowing ominously with an otherworldly light. The cacophony of whispers swirled around them, drowning out their thoughts. "Is this a trap?" Sarah gasped, glancing at Lisa with wide eyes. "We have to face this together," Lisa replied, her voice steady yet filled with trepidation. They stood on the edge of a revelation that could shatter their understanding of life itself, but the darkness ahead loomed larger than they could comprehend. Dada, as the crew of the Horizon began to explore the ominous fissures, tensions reached a boiling point. The personal dynamics among the team members became increasingly strained, with underlying fears and insecurities surfacing. Lisa found herself caught between her duty as a leader and her concern for her team's mental well-being. Each member of the crew had their own fears that manifested in different ways. Mark, the engineer, became increasingly reckless, driven by his desire to prove his worth. He often ventured too close to the fissures, ignoring safety protocols in a desperate attempt to uncover the source of the signals. His behavior frustrated Lisa, but also worried her. She understood the toll isolation was taking on him. Meanwhile, Sarah's fascination with Titan's geology turned into an obsession. She began to isolate herself, spending hours studying rock samples and venturing out alone to collect data. Lisa noticed Sarah's growing detachment and felt a pang of guilt. Armed with their equipment and a sense of foreboding, they boarded the lander. As it touched down on Titan's icy surface, Lisa's heart raced. The air was thick with tension, and the whispers seemed to envelop them, urging them forward. Exiting the lander, they were met with a sight that would forever alter their lives. The isolation was not just physical. It seeped into their minds, fracturing their unity. Dada, as the crew grappled with their fears, the fissures began to pulse with a strange energy, drawing them closer to a confrontation with the dark mystery that lay beneath Titan's surface. Each subplot intertwined, complicating their mission and threatening to unravel the very fabric of their team. The turning point came unexpectedly, like a storm breaking on the horizon. As the crew gathered one evening to review their findings, the module was plunged into darkness, the power systems failing one by one. Panic set in as they scrambled to restore order, but it was clear that something was fundamentally wrong. Check the backup generators. Lisa shouted, her heart racing. We need to get the lights back on. Amid the chaos, Mark's voice cut through the noise. It's not just a power failure. It's a seismic event. The ground is shifting. Each subplot intertwined, complicating their mission and threatening to unravel the very fabric of their team. The turning point came unexpectedly, like a storm breaking on the horizon. As the crew gathered one evening to review their findings, the module was plunged into darkness, the power systems failing one by one. Panic set in as they scrambled to restore order, but it was clear that something was fundamentally wrong. Check the backup generators. In a matter of moments, the thrill of discovery had transformed into a fight for survival, and the consequences of their exploration became painfully clear. In the midst of chaos, Lisa's instincts kicked in. She realized that they were not just explorers anymore. They were survivors. The blinding light from the fissures illuminated the module with an eerie glow, and a sense of urgency coursed through her veins. Each subplot intertwined, complicating their mission and threatening to unravel the very fabric of their team. The turning point came unexpectedly, like a storm breaking on the horizon. As the crew gathered one evening to review their findings, the module was plunged into darkness, the power systems failing one by one. Panic set in as they scrambled to restore order, but it was clear that something was fundamentally wrong. Check the backup generators. The whispers grew louder, echoing in their minds, urging them to come closer. It was as if Titan itself was awakening, revealing its secrets. Commander, we have to go. Mark pleaded, his eyes wide with terror. But Lisa stood frozen, caught in the grip of a revelation. The energy pulsing from the fissures felt alive, as if it were beckoning her to understand. In that moment, she realized that this was no ordinary exploration. They were on the brink of a discovery that could alter humanity's understanding of life and the universe. But it came at a cost. The shadows lurking in the fog were not just figments of their imagination. They were real, and they were watching. Lisa felt the weight of her decision pressing down on her. Could she lead her crew into the heart of the unknown, or would they become victims of the very mystery they sought to unravel? The blinding light from the fissures engulfed the module, and the crew was momentarily stunned. As Lisa stood frozen, the reality of their situation crashed down upon her. Mark's frantic voice broke through the haze, urging everyone to escape, but her mind raced with a mix of curiosity and fear. Suddenly, the ground heaved violently, and the module lurched, sending equipment flying. The crew struggled to regain their balance, chaos erupting around them. We need to stabilize the module, Sarah shouted, her voice trembling. But Lisa, caught in a trance, felt something deep within the fissures calling to her, a dark allure that promised answers but hinted at danger. Mark, sensing the impending doom, grabbed Lisa by the shoulders. We can't stay here. It's not safe. His eyes were wild, pleading with her to snap out of it. Lisa finally found her voice and shouted, we need to gather our data. We can't leave without understanding what this is. But the fissures pulsed again, and a low, resonating hum filled the air, overwhelming her senses. One by one, the crew began to panic, their fear manifesting in desperate cries and chaotic movements. The atmosphere shifted from scientific curiosity to primal dread, as if the very essence of Titan was closing in on them. As the module shook, Lisa felt the weight of her leadership. The crew, once united, was now splintering under the pressure of their fear. In a matter of moments, the thrill of discovery had transformed into a fight for survival, and the consequences of their exploration became painfully clear. In the midst of chaos, Lisa's instincts kicked in. She realized that they were not just explorers anymore. They were survivors. The blinding light from the fissures illuminated the module with an eerie glow, and a sense of urgency coursed through her veins. "Everyone, listen," she shouted, her voice cutting through the panic. "We need to regroup and focus. We can't let fear dictate our actions." Mark nodded, his hands trembling but his resolve strengthening. "Right. Let's secure the data we can and prepare for an evacuation. We need to be ready to move on a moment's notice." Sarah, still shaken, clutched a tablet filled with crucial data about the geological anomalies. "I can't leave without this information. It's too important." Her voice cracked under the weight of her obsession, but Lisa saw the determination flickering in her eyes. "Then let's make it work," Lisa said, her heart racing. "We gather what we can and get to the escape pod. We'll take the key findings and analyze them later. Right now, survival is our priority." As they moved through the module, Lisa felt a renewed sense of purpose. The bonds among them began to strengthen once more. Mark secured the equipment while Sarah methodically packed the data tablets, her focus shifting from fear to determination. The chaos outside continued, but within the module, a sense of unity began to emerge. Just when they thought they had everything, the ground shook violently again, a reminder of the urgency of their situation. They would confront it, analyze it, and emerge stronger, no matter the cost, with the pod systems beeping softly around them. The team prepared for re-entry. Lisa initiated the protocols, her heart racing as the reality of returning to Earth set in. They were going home, but the journey was far from over. They were leaving a part of themselves, a piece of their ambition and curiosity. As the escape pod detached, the ground trembled violently, and the module lurched one last time before a blinding flash engulfed it, leaving nothing but a haunting echo. Lisa knew they had narrowly escaped something terrible, but the experience had altered her. The fissures were still fresh in her mind, and she couldn't shake the feeling that they had merely skimmed the surface of something much deeper and more sinister. The escape pod, while a temporary sanctuary, felt like a fragile bubble against the vastness of space. Each passing moment heightened her anxiety as they drifted farther from Titan. Lisa resolved to ensure that their encounter wouldn't remain shrouded in mystery. They had survived, but the shadows of what they had encountered lingered in their minds. The crew huddled together, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the control panel, each of them grappling with the psychological scars left by their harrowing experience. Did we really leave it behind? Sarah whispered, her eyes darting toward the small window, as if expecting to see the module engulfed in flames. The unease in her voice resonated with the others. Even in their escape, the fear of the unknown clung to them. "We need to debrief and analyze the data we collected," Lisa said firmly, trying to anchor her team's thoughts. "We can't let what happened define us. We need to understand it." Her voice was steady, but inside, she was wrestling with her own doubts. What had they uncovered beneath the surface of Titan? What had they truly escaped? Mark, still shaken, nodded in agreement. "We need to keep our focus. Whatever we encountered, it's important that we document every detail. It could be the key to understanding Titan's secrets." His determination sparked a flicker of hope in the group, and they began to sift through the data, reviewing what they had managed to collect before the evacuation. As they worked, Lisa felt the weight of her leadership responsibilities. She was not just an astronaut, but a protector of her crew's well-being. The fissures were still fresh in her mind, and she couldn't shake the feeling that they had merely skimmed the surface of something much deeper and more sinister. The escape pod, while a temporary sanctuary, felt like a fragile bubble against the vastness of space. Each passing moment heightened her anxiety as they drifted farther from Titan. Lisa resolved to ensure that their encounter wouldn't remain shrouded in mystery. They would confront it, analyze it, and emerge stronger, no matter the cost. With the pod systems beeping softly around them, the team prepared for re-entry. Lisa initiated the protocols, her heart racing as the reality of returning to Earth set in. They were going home, but the journey was far from over. As the escape pod descended through the atmosphere, turbulence rattled their small vessel, shaking them from their thoughts. Lisa's heart raced, not just from the impending landing, but also from the weight of the unknown. The tension in the pod was palpable, each crew member silently grappling with the memories of what they had encountered. Prepare for landing, Lisa announced, her voice steady despite the chaos outside. The pod jolted violently, and alarms blared, echoing the fear that had taken root in each of them. Together, we can advocate for responsible exploration that considers both the science and the well-being of those who dare to venture into the cosmos. Visit our website to learn more about upcoming missions and how you can be a part of the journey. The universe holds many secrets, and we need your voice to uncover them. The signals they had detected before their evacuation were now flooding the pod systems, overwhelming them with data and noise. Lisa struggled to maintain composure as she attempted to filter through the chaos. The light grew brighter, and the pod shook even more violently. Shut it down. We have to sever the connection, Lisa commanded, her mind racing. But just as she reached for the controls, the pod systems began to fail. The screens flickered, and the communication lines crackled with static. The unsettling hum of the fissures filled their ears, reminiscent of the alien call they had felt on Titan.as. The pod spiraled through the atmosphere. The crew was gripped by a profound sense of dread. Lisa felt it too, the realization that they had not truly escaped. Whatever they had unearthed on Titan was now a part of them, haunting their every thought. Brace for impact, Lisa shouted, her voice cutting through the rising panic. The pod plunged toward Earth, and the crew clung to their seats, hearts pounding in unison. In that moment, Lisa understood they were not just returning home. They were carrying something dark back with them. With a deafening crash, the pod hit the ground, and everything went black. The finality of their ordeal hung in the air, and only time would reveal the true consequences of their encounter with the unknown. As the dust settled and rescue teams approached the wreckage, Lisa Reynolds awoke to the sound of voices. The terror of Titan lingered in her mind, but the warmth of Earth brought a bittersweet relief. The crew, though physically safe, bore invisible scars from their harrowing journey. Lisa knew that their mission had changed them forever. They had faced the unknown and survived, but the shadows of Titan would always remain a part of them. Together, they would confront their fears and seek understanding, determined to uncover the truth of what they had experienced. Months later, Lisa stood at a podium, addressing a captivated audience of scientists and the media. The mission to Titan had become a subject of intense study and speculation. As she recounted their findings, she felt the weight of responsibility. The signals had been traced back to a deeper mystery within Titan, igniting a new wave of exploration. Lisa emphasized the importance of understanding not just the science, but the psychological effects of space exploration. The shadows of their past would guide future missions, shaping a new era of exploration where curiosity and caution walked hand in hand. Join the conversation about the future of space exploration. Share your thoughts on the psychological impacts of isolation and the unknown. How can we prepare astronauts for the challenges they face beyond our planet? Support initiatives that promote mental health awareness in space missions. Together, we can advocate for responsible exploration that considers both the science and the well-being of those who dare to venture into the cosmos. Visit our website to learn more about upcoming missions and how you can be a part of the journey. The universe holds many secrets, and we need your voice to uncover them.